LJH crew, what's going on? Thank you once again for clicking on another edition of the Real LJH Productions, and most importantly, happy holidays, everybody, as we finally approach Christmas and get into the new year. I hope everybody is doing awesome. But today we're going to be talking about the worst movies of 2024. A list was recently brought to my attention, but that's not the list we're going to talk about. I'm going to go down my own list and talk about the movies of 2024 that I think were the worst, that had no potential, and that just were god awful. And not so much god awful, like I shouldn't say that, because there's a few on this list that I actually did like, but I'll explain why they're on this list of worst of 2024. Some of it is lack of what the studio didn't do, and yeah, so we'll go from there. So my first one, we'll go by numbers. I'm trying to, that way it's easier. Number 10 is Imaginary. Now, don't get me wrong. I did a review on Imaginary, and I liked Imaginary. That was the one about the bear Chauncey, who was an imaginary friend and had like a paranormal world and so forth. The movie wasn't bad, but it also didn't blow you away. And the marketing for Imaginary, after coming off the success of Megan from which Blumhouse did as well, just wasn't there. They didn't market this movie enough, and I feel like it could have been better. After watching it a second time, I kind of realized that. But it's on this list because of marketing purposes. They just did not promote this movie well. If they promoted it well, it might have had more potential than it did. So that's number 10. Number 9 on this list is Madam Web. The villain being the misunderstood does not work for every villain. And again, with Madam Web, it was a lack of marketing. Madam Web is just not a good movie. And on top of that, it wasn't marketed right. They just kind of threw it to the sharks and hoped that it would make money and people would understand that it was a Spider-Man spinoff. Not how that worked. So yeah, Madam Web is on here as well because it's boring, number one, and number two, it's just not a good movie. Number 8 is Borderlands. And this movie had potential. You had an all-star cast. All you had to do was write a good plot based off of one of PlayStation's best video games ever made, and you couldn't come up with a decent plot for this movie. It lacks a plot, it's all over the place, and again, the marketing for Borderlands was shit. And that's why Borderlands is on this list. Number 7 is Smile 2. Smile was a great film. It was suspenseful. You were wondering what was going to happen next. You were intrigued. Smile 2 was a giant concert of her hallucinating. And it lacked suspense. And in my personal opinion, it even lacked the horror. It just was not a great movie by any stretch. And they should not be making more. Smile should just go down as its own movie. Pretend that Smile 2 does not exist. And I'm sorry to say that. And Smile, if they do make a Smile 3, it would have to like literally blow me out of the water because it was awful. Number 6 is Harold and the Purple Crayon. These were books from my childhood. Books from a lot of your childhoods, now that you're thinking about it. Yeah, you're that old. Here's the thing with this movie. Again, had potential to be a great film, but it was lack of marketing. And why the hell did you make Howard an adult? And it has a really bad plot to it. Like it's not a great movie. Very boring, very, and it's not memorable. It's very unmemorable. Like I couldn't even tell you what the movie was about after I watched it. I was just like, okay, it's an hour and 44 minutes of my life I would like back. Just wasn't good. Number 5 is Night Swim. Now you think that you would make a movie about a horror swimming pool pretty good because it's something that you can do, it's something unique. No. The person that created Night Swim probably grew up in the 90s and probably loved Are You Afraid of the Dark, like most of us did. And all they did was tweak the plot of The Tale of Dead Man's Float. And a lot of you are looking at Night Swim after just watching it now and going, huh, he's right. The only thing they didn't do was kill the monster with gas. I mean, excuse me, with a poison chemical. And reveal it as being some kind of like weird ass demon thing. But yeah, Night Swim is a knockoff plot of Dead Man's Float. That's all it is. Number 4 to me is Red One. Now, again, I'm not a big fan of The Rock and his movies to begin with. He has a couple that I like The Scorpion King. But getting back into Red One, again, the plot is all over the place. And again, it's just not a good movie. It was so bad I didn't want to review it for my channel. But I'm putting it on this list for a reason. Again, not a good movie. Plot was terrible. And again, it lacked marketing. Christmas time is supposed to be market your holiday movies. They didn't market this movie at all. I didn't even know Red One was existing until like a week before it came out. Why is that? This is supposed to be a good Christmas movie, and you don't even market it. Hmm. Is it me, LJH Crew? There's a reason why it's already on streaming after only being out almost 2.5 weeks. Number 4 is Mad Max. This movie is a spin-off. This is what I'm talking about. The spin-off. Not to mention how many of these films you're going to do before you realize that you've lacked creativity for a very long time. And again, the marketing for this movie was horrendous. Not to mention, at least in my opinion, the best Mad Maxes are the ones with Mel Gibson. So yeah, that's why this is on the list. Next, I would have to say is number 3. I'd have to say is Trapped. Shyamalan's latest film had a good plot to it. but lacked a story. He could have done so much more with this film, but chose to be weird about it. And Shyamalan's weird, don't get me wrong, but this movie had potential to be an awesome film. I mean, in my opinion, it just wasn't good. So that's why it's on my worst list of 2024. Number two, Kraven Hunter. Again, making these DC and Marvel misunderstood villain movies do not work. You think they would have learned that with Madam Web. They went and pushed this movie back for a long time. I get why. It's awful. And number one on this list, boy, is number one on this list for a reason, and I have a couple of honorable mentions. But number one, The Crow. Why the fuck did we go and make a movie of a remake nobody wanted to begin with and was boycotting just to make a dollar? The Brandon Lee movie is iconic. It's awesome. And the man literally lost his life making the movie. And it's one of the most remembered, and the movie is just remarkable. It's well shot, it's well done. The special effects still hold up to today, and it was great. This new one, no. Just they completely ruined the premise and the entire story of what the Crow actually meant. And it's a giant gore fest shit show. And yeah, I'm telling you guys how I really feel. The Crow is just complete crap. Nothing will ever hold up to the original Crow movie. Nothing. So, now, honorable mentions of this year, in my opinion, that should be honest, that are on this list. Joker 2. Do I have to say more? The first one was so good, and then you went and made a bullshit musical version, and then spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. And then he's imagining the whole thing, or you think he's imagining everything. Nobody really knows if it was in his head or not, or what was real and what was not. Yeah. One more honorable mention for you is Kung Fu Panda 4. Seriously, DreamWorks, how many more of these movies do we need? And I'll leave that at that. But with that being said, guys, this does end another video. I hope you guys enjoyed my rant list of what I think are the worst movies of 2024. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit those notification bells so you know when I post a video. Check out the TikTok at The Real LJH Productions as well. And like I said, subscribe. We talk about movies on this channel all the time, do movie reviews, all kinds of fun stuff. So subscribe if you haven't. Give me the ultimate Christmas present and hit that subscribe button, guys. I would really appreciate it. And remember, 500 subscribers, I am giving away that copy of Spider-Man 2 for the PS5. I cannot wait to do it. I will do it on a live, I promise. And I hope you all enjoy your holiday. And I will see you all real soon. And as they say in the movies, cue the lights.